Hey guys, we're back. And this is not a typical episode. It's just going to be a quick one. And we're going to talk about really quickly the importance of paying attention to the moon cycle and eclipses and what it means for energy. Bryn, go ahead and start. This is
Well,
your jam.
we we just wanted to pop in because we were talking and we are right in between. We're in eclipse season right now at the time of recording. So we're in between a couple of eclipses and we just came out of this weekend where we had a lunar eclipse and it was a full moon and it got me thinking as I noticed in my house a lot of emotions coming up, heightened emotions, unpredictable emotional reactions. There was just sort of this these waves of feelings, moods, and like I said, I mean, I'm just saying 10 times over, right? Like this unpredictable nature of the emotional um, range that we experience in our home. And when we have full moons, I think it's important to note that. And so I grew up in my later years. My brother was an emergency responder, and they will be the first to tell you that the moon cycle is important to note. They know, all emergency responders know when there's a full moon because behavior changes. And this is, I think, something that everybody should be aware of. And I'm laughing to myself a little bit because I mentioned it to my husband yesterday and he was like, okay. And I'm like, let's talk, we're 80% water in our body and the moon controls the tides and how could it not affect us, right? But I'm not here to justify that. I just wanted to gently remind folks that this is actually something that we should be paying attention twofold. If you are a menstruating woman, you should be noticing the moon cycles and where your personal cycle, your menstruation cycle, how that connects to the moon. And then secondly, just noticing in your home when there is a new moon or a full moon. That's the easiest place to start, in particular, the full moon, because you're going to notice that, again, the behavior changes, maybe things being more erratic, heightened emotions. This is just typical. And it can really help take a breath, like that kind of that mindfulness piece of, hey, like this is just a couple of days. It's just a transit. This is to be expected. Right.
There's nothing wrong here. There's nothing I need to fix here. It goes back to what we were talking the last episode with like extending love and compassion in that space instead of feeling like something's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when we have other things going on where you might have to be a little bit more tuned into the transits and when there might be eclipses, it's going to sort of amplify all of that chaoticness that could be going on. And we were talking, and you didn't necessarily feel it so much in that way. Maybe it showed up in different ways. And your personal astrology, right, where your personal placements are, they will definitely influence whether you feel this in a big way or not. This particular, one for me, I was very, very, very tired, right? But other people were way amped up and not sleeping well. Dreams were really crazy, right? So I was a little bit expecting or anticipating, oh, my kids might be waking up at night with bad dreams or crazy dreams or whatever have you. So anyway, all that to say, short and sweet, notice, make a note on your calendar or add the lunar cycles to your calendar so that you just know when we're coming into a full moon, when it's occurring, and when we've just had one, and it's usually just a couple days on either side, maybe less, and have some grace during that time.
Exactly. And if you're like, how do I find out where the full moon is? When is it? Google is obviously a friend, right? Or a lot of the phones, like my iPhone has it within the weather app. You can just see that and you can see the whole month. You can look ahead and find out when it's going to be next. It's kind of like females tracking your menstrual cycle, right? Of just paying attention. When is it to be expected? And I love that you brought that part up because I think that's incredibly important for us as females who are menstruating,
Yeah.
especially as my daughter is in that now and like she's learning about that and it's so fun to talk to her about how amazing it is to like be so in sync with mother nature and the moon cycles and just like I just
Yeah.
get excited about that stuff.
Ovulation as well, and just noticing, do you menstruate on the full moon or on the new moon, because
Yeah.
everyone's a little bit different. Noticing if you have more than one menstruating individual in the home, are you synced or are you out of sync?
Yeah.
Usually you're going to be synced because of proximity, but just noticing, because new moon is the time to call things in and full moon is the time to release things, which is why there's often a purging of emotions. So that's what you usually see. And it's really great because we were talking about this too, is when you are releasing, we want to be releasing with intentionality. We want to be calling in with intentionality, but you should never, I'm hesitating as I say that because I don't want to should, right? And I don't want to never, no absolutes here, but it's important that if you are intentionally releasing something, that you then intentionally call in what you want to replace it. Energetically speaking, you don't want to leave a void. So you will get more of the same if you release something and you're not intentional about what you're calling it. So during the full moon or during an eclipse, it's great to release and be intentional about where you are letting go of, and be mindful. What are we replacing this with, right?
Yeah.
And then amplifying that during the new moon.
Yeah, what came up for me when you were talking about that was like the law of attraction, if anybody is familiar with that, and the whole idea of if you're just focusing on what you want to release, you're focusing on the thing that you don't want to be doing anymore, paying attention to, but yet your focus is there, so it's going to grow, right? Just to bring another perspective into it to kind of wrap your head around what that means. So then when you bring in the thing that you're wanting to bring in, your head goes to that space, you're focusing on that space energetically, it's going to bring more power to that one. Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a big conversation amongst my work besties and my, human design nerds. When we're geeking out, there's some placements that have just been coming up. And I think we might have talked about it last time with gate 18, especially. There's this correction. And it's like that focus on what is wrong, right? Versus what is going well, and paying attention to those things. But that's an episode for another time, perhaps.
It is. Yes. Okay. I think we're going to wrap this one up now. It was short and sweet, and we're going to record the next one. So listen, keep listening. Thanks, guys.